Hi, hello, and as seems to be the case more frequently, it's not the Sabbath today. I am unfortunately seeing a lot of losses in my little spudlets, either because they've run out of nutrients or they've run into other problems here. I don't know that I'm going to get them in the ground before they just die of old age or disease or something. So, unfortunately, that's not the happiest thing I'd like to think of, but I'm losing them. Like you see that one right there has got a dead rotten stem, even though the upper part doesn't look as bad. It's pretty much shot. And so yeah, it's not the Sabbath because it was raining so hard. There was no way in the world I could have been out and gotten a report done. All this stuff here, it's growing. I won't say no significant change, just no visual change. Significantly visual change. Over here, no big change. I just wanted to mention that I am unfortunately in a position where I'm losing my little spudlets that I didn't plant because, well, probably because I didn't plant them anywhere yet. And I don't really have a place to plant them. Over here, this shriveled up thing was a mushroom. And I set it over here after I allowed it to grow to full size so that it would potentially shed spores over in that container, which originally I tried to put some grapefruit seeds in, but they never germinated. This little critter has not only survived almost dying, but another one that I thought was surely dead has popped back up. There's some kind of succulent plant I know nothing about, but they've recovered. Up here, this thing's just very slowly, gradually growing. Nothing really, shocking about it except that it's alive in the first place. And of course, my spindle-leaf hairs are just getting a little longer at a time. A lot of this stuff isn't terribly different. Like that little branch is just getting a little taller. And over here, this thing, over here, has put on, again, just the two branches here. The white philodendron, or unvariegated white philodendron, maybe I should say, is growing along it, but it's not binding to it yet. There's another couple branches there. So, things are just kind of puttering along. The yellow philodendron is growing along happily, getting nice and rich. Some of these other plants, again, this is some version of the mother-in-law's tongue. Can't tell you exactly which version, but it's growing along happily. The other versions of mother-in-law's tongues are getting along fairly decently. Certainly doing better than the aloe vera for the most part. Not saying that any of the aloe vera are doing see, there's an aloe vera that's doing okay. It's in with some more of these cacti, and some of the cacti are doing great. You could say the same thing about the African violets. Some are doing good, some not so good. So it's pretty much kind of a hit and miss situation on them. Now, jumping to an outside subject, these are some of the ripening, I guess they're the purple strain of tomatoes. They're supposed to be Big Boy and Best Boy, but they're redder and darker, more like purple. I don't know. If you look in the camera, they look somewhere like blackish green. But these are the ones that were ripening. I've had them in a bit of a box to just try to accelerate the ripening, but they're about done. In fact, this one's about to spoil, so I need to turn them into something that I can preserve real fast, like tomato salad or something. So however that goes, I got them out to look at them and to prep them. Again, since it's not the Sabbath, I can cook them up. It won't be no problem. I just had them in a box like that so that they would let the ethylene surround them and get them ripe. Alright, so moving on out to other subjects. Visually, this doesn't over here look like it's changed much. In fact, the only real big change is it's been rained on since I gutted it. I will have to pull a couple of pieces more timber off to make certain I got enough room for the stringers to fit in here. And then when I've got that room, I'm up there measuring and marking stringers. We'll get back to that here in a minute. Again, we had a lot of rain last night and stuff, so I couldn't video it yesterday. Here's your raindrop, speaking of rain. But, unfortunately, some bad news, for me anyway. We lost a baby. Walnut up and died on us. So we still got cashew and chestnut, but walnut is no longer with us, unfortunately. And I won't go into details or anything like that, except say it's over with. Unfortunately, it happened so fast. We didn't have a chance really. Tried treating her with some medicine, but while we fixed one problem, another problem seems to have come along in the meantime. We got, I don't know, we'll find out here in a minute. We got quite a bit of rain last night, so the fields are nice and green, thankfully, which is really important since no rain, there's a lot of stuff that doesn't grow. Of course, the wild black raspberries are doing alright, and the wild blackberries are doing alright. The tame thornless blackberries were flowering. Let's see if they still have any flowers on them. They don't have many. And yeah, okay, the tame thornless blackberries have made all their fruit that they're gonna make. Oh, well, no, maybe not. Looks like they're gonna try to, I don't even know if I've got the picture in the camera. There we go. There we go. So there's another little cluster of flowers. So they're trying their best, and I really need to find a way to get children from them. We did have some more monsters come over and bite the tops off of some of our tomato plants, but I put some little squeaker toys here. It says Pest Mentor on them, I think, something like that. They're just some kind of Chinese noise maker. It's supposed to scare off or annoy the various monsters that will eat my garden. Whether they work or not, I have yet to be confident, but I won't say they haven't done anything until I get further into the year. This tomato, first one I got, really big, had the one purple tomato on it, which turned out to be already starting to spoil. I ate a little of it, the rest of it ended up just being seeds that I saved. Well, it is what it is. The sage is done flowering, finally, making seeds and going into its dormant state for a perennial. The strawberries have been flowering. I actually ate a fruit off of that one. And here's a strawberry fruit right there on that one. Make certain zoom out. There we go. Versus zoom in. Now as far as fruit over here, this plant has I thought it had 3. Unless somebody bit one off. I sure thought, okay, there we go. There's one right down there. There's a couple fruit on it. A couple of them have a few fruits here and there. Some are setting. I think these are setting, but I won't know for a few days. It's got a fruit down there. And there's a fruit right there and there, I know some people have so many tomatoes, it's like, why even count them? But I've got so few that I can count them. It's a sad thing. So far, I have not been able to set and get any sets on these things. Some of them are growing to beat the band, and some are dying as the band beat them. So, hit and miss on them, the bell peppers. They're flowering, and the little fruits pop on there, but then they cast. So I don't know what that's all about, what to do about it. And there's an open flower right there. There's an open flower right there. They're on there. They're just not setting fruit that stays. It turns into a little fruit and then it pops off. It falls to the ground and it's done. These spuds are probably pretty close to the end of their season. It's pretty hot out, so all the deer or whatever did was just accelerate their demise, because you notice some of them are more wilted than others. In which case, what'll happen is I'll dig them up and I'll repurpose the pots after I pull the spuds out of there. But I want to give them every chance to finish the season out on their own, simply because of the fact that that gives the most chance for potato development for the tubers that are to be harvested from it. Over here, see the watermelons in here are getting pretty lively. The yellow raspberry is struggling. Not sure what to do about that, but it ain't doing great. That one ain't doing great either. These little tomatoes that the deer bit the top off of are doing enough that they're flowering. So it's all 6 in one hand, half a dozen on the other. I'm worried I'm going to lose those yellow raspberries before I ever get them planted, unless I just go and dig a hole and stick them in the ground and say, well, they were going to die anyhow. Again, over there in that pile, that's the inky caps, which obviously nobody around here is going to mess with those little monsters. Again, I put potatoes in here. They're in the shade, they're in a cool place. They'll mostly get morning sun, and hopefully they'll pop through the ground here eventually and make another crop of spudlets over here. I don't know. I'm not going to mess with those little poison mushrooms, but I did put some safe edible mushroom pieces in there, hopefully that the spores will propagate. We shall see. Other than that, the critters are just keeping the lawn well mowed. I had to pull some of the wood out of that field for other purposes we'll go into in a minute. Again, as well as I picked up the more rotten stuff out of that wood pile. Over here, I put this bed frame up here because the deer or something still gets in here and tears these things up, and so they're missing more leaves and everything. And I try to dust them and the rain washes the dust off, and they still get eaten by the worms, so it's really miserable. I got one cucumber that has a flower on it out of, I don't know, 100 or so I put in the ground. And a couple over there are struggling, so I'll probably put some more seeds in the ground. Hopefully that some of them will make it, I don't know. Overall, I'll be lucky if these things even flower enough to make fruit, let alone make an edible head that you'd want to cook and serve for dinner. I don't know, just learning. Of course, the tiger lilies here, a couple of them are just about ready to open up and bloom. Out of how many were here, the number we have now is pretty tiny, because the goats, Mr. O'Malley there, Bighorn there, he and his former partner in crime came out here and ate him off to the ground. So yeah, that didn't help many. The wild cherry tomatoes are making fruit, but I don't know if they'll be of any use to us. Let me see if I can zoom in on this one that I can see right here in front of us. See right there? Yeah. So there's a bunch of those. Let me see if I can get those in the picture. These are 100% wild, 100% voluntary. And I'm letting them grow because while they are technically wild, they're also technically edible. And if there's enough of it to make anything out of, great. If not, well, that's fine too. I'm not going to be upset about it because they're free. Over here, I've been doing some work. I got some of those custom pieces of wood all cut for this stairway, and they're up here stacked up after I've measured them and everything. This is a template I've been working on. The tapes, because I glued that piece on there to get it very precise and implement. I got to duplicate this into a mirrored image. You could call it a butterfly or a twisted hourglass, but it's going to come in here and fit this pattern right there. And so that's why these boards are lined up specifically, so that I can have mirror images and go through here. And then this will be the other part of that, so they'll sit kind of like that in there, you know, each for each side, and then that'll line them up. I'll put an outer box frame on here to make certain they're exactly where they need to be, and that'll keep them from being a deviation one from the other. Once they're identical, then I can use them as a template and go from the top in and work my way down and finally put a proper mark on. There's bark on there because I was telling you, but I pulled some of the tree branches out of the field. I cut them all up into small burnable pieces, which we'll go into further later here. Well, we got, I don't know how much rain yet. We'll find out here in a bit because we're heading that direction. And I put a fully emptied, clean bucket out there so that I could, we got quite a bit of rain yesterday. Several inches. How much, I don't know. But several inches. And as you see, it's still running down the hill the day after, which means a lot of it got on the ground. Let's go over here before we go over to the next garden plot and see if we can see how much. Well, we won't be able to see how full this pond got because it drains down. I say pond, greenhouse. Ponds, ironically, more shallow than the greenhouse. Let's see over here how much water piled up in here. See, some of the water piles still flows down in here because I haven't been able to alter the road and drainage enough to handle it. But yeah, all that water pretty much came yesterday. And it was running, I guarantee it was running over the creek at the bottom, but I'm not going to go down there. Probably running through the field. We might get a shot from the hillside and see some water wash running through my bottom land, because usually this volume, it tends to kick up and actually flow that far that it creates a knocked down place. These roses here apparently have finished blooming now that they've had their time. Try to watch where I'm stepping because some of this will be soaking wet. My feet are bound to get wet from rainwater, but there's also standing water running through here too. Interestingly, it kind of follows this thing. Here, squishing under my feet. Yep, see how this is standing water. It's not just standing water. Some of it, if you look real careful, it's actually running water. It's not running fast, but it is running water. Now, the zucchini are generally seeming to respond well to being planted out here. Those watermelon transplants aren't dead, but they're not growing near as fast as some of the others. So, but they're not, they're not dead, so hopefully they'll come up. But in the meantime, hopefully we're going to have some golden and black, greenish black, they call black squash, they're green. Anyhow, 2 different rows of squash to eat for part of the year. How much of the year, I don't know, because obviously they haven't even begun flowering yet. Slick. So down here, where the water still flows a little above ground, because there's that much of it, that's usually barren. Apples. Apples are putting on some good size now. The rain really makes them grow fast sometimes. So this bolster of rain gave them a little more inspiration to grow. And of course, the Mexican sombreros, aka yellow coneflower, aka the alternative of echinacea. It's part of the coneflower family. Is getting up, as are a lot of the sunflowers, like black-eyed Susans, and I'm sure a lot of them other than that. There's mints going on. Unfortunately, there's some hemlock. There's a lot of wild, my brain went dead. Wild petunias over here, we'll see in a minute. These things, well, they tried and they did their thing and they quit over here. There's still some over there at the other side of the couple of the daylilies. Let me see if I can get through here without wandering into the mud and water. Filberts are looking alright, but you know, a couple daylilies still over there, not many. I guess the deer don't have enough energy to go over there all the time, so they pop up quicker and stay up longer. Still haven't worked on that project at all. I've been engineering it in my head, but I haven't been working on it. The rose against the fence has finished its flowering. There were previously some dewberries out here. It's the first ones that I've seen here in a decade. And I gave the last handful I had to Mom, since she seems to like them. She doesn't like blackberries, and she likes dewberries. The difference is the vine. That's about it. Let me see if I can find any, or if the animals have found them before me. Yeah, it looks like the animals got the last of them. I got the first of them, and the critters got the last of them. The rose is trying to make little rose hips, but they're not looking like they're, well, they're just starting if they're going at all. That little bush with the white flowers is looking healthier, but it didn't flower this year either. What can I say? Down in this corner, really don't know if we'll see much except erosion, but sometimes it's interesting to watch erosion for some reason. The idea that there's just massive amounts of water blowing through here, I guess. Some of the bee balm is about finished blossoming. Thought I'd get to pick it before that, but things didn't work out that way. We got persimmon sprigs growing in my driveway. I have to go and clear them out, cut them off, feed them to the babies. So yeah, erosion through here, while it's bad, it's not something I can't deal with. I'll just have to bring more rocks in here and stuff, since I'm not in a position right now to build a culvert for this. Needs a culvert real bad, but I'm not in a position to do it yet. So, the road got washed a little bit more. And I gotta get in here and help the neighbors by dragging all this base rock over from this side into here where it belongs. Stupid morons in the county. Go in there and tear up the road after everybody fought tooth and nail to get it fixed. They unfixed it. Completely imbeciles. Selfish, careless, thoughtless, absolutely, utterly unqualified for the job they're being paid to do. But what can you do? Again, getting back over here in the flower country, a little bit, if you can call it flower country. Still a few purple cone flowers that haven't gone to seed to the finality of their seasonal production. Let's see if the gladiolas. Oh, well, you know, it looks like we're going to have some flowers. Oh, yay. Gladiolas. It's going to be beautiful. I don't know what color it'll be. If it'll be the same as the other ones over there or not. You see some more bee balm. You see some more of the black-eyed Susans and purple-eyed Susans. They're looking nice. There's some various unknown white flowery stuff out in the field. The poppies are just about finished. Let's go see if these other gladiolas look like they're intending to flower or not. Here's some, well, that's fleabane daisy. I am not currently seeing a head on this one. Oh well. So back to the coneflowers. And well, that's pretty much it for all the feel-good aspects of all this. Now we get down to water flow. I'm gonna get my feet wet right here, I guarantee you. Not too bad. Unfortunately, since we did lose a baby, I was forced to dispose of the body. There's nothing visible necessarily now because I put this barbecue lid on here and it held the heat in and helped make the wood burn more efficient. And it's not that there's nothing left in there, it's just there's not as much. And it's dry because that kept the rain off of it. Over here, this is that rotten wood I brought over here to use the burn. I went and left the torch out, not intentionally, but didn't go back and intentionally pick it up and put it home either. My new to me stove has some rain on it, but hopefully not enough to do it any harm. That's why it's got that piece of aluminum on the top, is to reduce the amount of moisture that gets on the electronics. Hopefully I can get that installed before it goes bad. Now let us see if we can find out roughly how much rain actually fell. Oh boy. Huh. That's every bit of 4.5 inches. Yeah, we get quite a bit of water. Yeah, okay, let's see how much flooding we got in the barn side. Oh, not too bad, or at least it went down. It's hard to say how much was in here at its peak, but it's not so bad that it can't be managed. Just some water in here. And that moisture over there was partly from previous flooding, but maybe somewhat from this one. Hard to say. Well, that's the bulk of, well, everything now. Let me turn the light off in here. Yeah, I would say that other than losing the baby that died suddenly, everything else has at least gone decent over the past week. And so hopefully you're all having a good and blessed and enjoyable week, and prosperous, and everything is peaceful and going your way, at least mostly. And I am going to wrap this up here, and hopefully next Sabbath, or close to it, I'll be back here to show any other changes that have happened, and hopefully a lot of them have. Hopefully that whole stairwell will be in. We'll see. Up to whatever Yahweh wills. In the meantime, all I can say is shalom and peace and blessing to you all. And till next report. Bye for now.